Alrighty guys, today we are starting Higurashi When They Cry, which is a visual novel, which, I'm sure you know if you clicked on the video. But yeah, we're starting this today. I am using the Steam version along with the 07th mod that everyone online says you pretty much have to use. I set everything to pretty much console settings with graphics and everything. That seems to be what people recommend. I'm using the 2014 audio track, which is, again, I looked it up some online just to see what people think you should use. That's what people said. Yeah, I don't really know much about this other than that it's kind of scary. That's all I know. I think many years ago, I watched like the first episode of the anime. It was so long ago, I don't remember like anything. So, I got a notebook, I got a pen, because one of my friends recommended this to me, and they said, I'm knocking stuff off my desk, and they said, it would probably be the type of thing I really like. I really like stories where I have to pay attention, where I have to keep stuff in mind, I have to, So I'm going to take notes as we go. Yeah, so I guess we'll just get into it. I think I have the... I just kind of lowered everything to about this level, because that's where it sounded, the sound effects, right now sound good at that level. Hopefully it'll be good with the voices and sound effects and stuff. It sounds fine on the menu, but I guess we will see. So let's get into this. Onikakushi, Demon Away chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi When They Cry. The Onikakushi arc will be the opening, inviting you into this world. Sit back, relax, and enjoy life in Hinamizawa to the fullest. The difficulty for this chapter is extremely high, but I hope you will enjoy the reward. I don't really know what it means by difficulty. Maybe it's like decisions you have to make, I guess. The only visual novel I've ever played is Doki Doki Literature Club, which I don't know if that really even counts. Kind of, it's, different than what most people would count as a visual novel. I assume there's some, it's not Japanese. One thing I am curious about, the title here, Onikakushi, Demon Away chapter. I know Kamikakushi means spirited away. So I guess demoned away is what, because Oni means demon, Kami means god. So demoned away? Interesting. Okay. Oh, God. And there should be voice acting. Oh. Please do not deplore yourself. Even if the world does not forgive you, I will forgive you. Please do not deplore yourself. Even if you do not forgive the world, I will forgive you. So please tell me, what will it take for you to forgive me? Frederica Berncastel? And a bunch of stuff. Is this a work of fiction? I would hope so. I'm gonna write down, wait. I'm just gonna write down Onikakushi. 1983. And blood. Here, let me write down real quick. Onikakushi. Demon Away. Okay. If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself in such a silly, sobbing voice. Can I use my keyboard? I can. And those tears making a mess of my face. That mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled, and everything fell silent. Was that a mechanic? That sounded like someone swinging something, or hitting something, not a mechanical sound. Only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I felt as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She is no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion, because there were none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. Then why, this pain, my eyes getting moist, why was this happening? I still wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently, my spirit had suffered enough. And countless times, I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except, I've stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Only I can understand that painful struggle and appreciate it. Hey, me? I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, isn't it alright to just take the easy way out? I thought... Interesting. I'll finish this scene. Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind, with her. Like flowers by a grave. Yeah, it seems like it's our narrator that is, was the one hitting someone with something by those sounds, right? The blood and stuff. The way he calls it the easy way out, doing whatever he's doing to whoever he's doing it to. Because I don't know if it's a he or a she. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, just lift it up, yeah. And with every swing, forget a little more. Oh, that sound is brutal. That kindness made me happy. That adorable smile brought me joy. I liked petting your head. Can I go back? Oh, I see. Does it just show me everything? Okay. I loved how demure you were. Oh. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this down, I'll forget. This is my first and last bouquet for you. Oh. Perhaps I really did love you. Alright. That is an opening. Anything I want to write down from that? I mean... swinging and killing someone. Somebody has been apologizing for a while now. I wonder what she's apologizing for. It felt wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I last went to the city. I only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I'd lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. I get that. There's skyscrapers and multi-lane roads. The melodious cacophony of the crosswalk. Even the campaign speeches blaring in front of the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. There's only the chirping of locusts and the babbling of brooks. And the cry of the Higurashi, the evening cicadas. Roll credits, alright. Should I write that down? I'll write that down. Higurashi... oh no, I'll probably remember. Higurashi equals cicadas. Rather than making me feel lonely, that quietness had begun to instill a sense of serenity. There's nothing where I'm living now. I don't just mean there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even vending machines. No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. An ice cream parlor? No chance. See, I don't know if I would like a small town like that. A lot of people romanticize small towns, but, you know, I've never really lived in somewhere that's, like, truly urban, especially in the same way in, like, Japan, with a, you know, like, Tokyo's, like, the biggest metropolis imaginable. I've never really lived somewhere like that, and I've never lived somewhere that's like a small town. I kind of live in, like, a suburban area. That's where I've been my whole life. But I feel like I would like a big, bustling city more than, like, a small town. Maybe I'm, you know, I guess hard to say because I've never lived in either, but... the nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's nearly an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors where I used to live, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. Understandable. I had lived in the city for 10 years and never once been to an ice cream parlor. Wow. I should have gone at least once. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody is still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologized so much, so just forgive her already. There's no reason anybody should ever need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. I don't think I agree with that. I mean, like, yeah. I don't think that's a good position to have. I think, you know, based off that first scene we saw as well, which, just because this is our narrator now, I'm just going to assume that was our narrator killing someone. You know, no way to actually know yet, but, you know, I'm just going to assume we're going to be at the same narrator the whole time. Maybe not. But I just feel like that would be... This is an interesting dichotomy between... even if that wasn't our narrator, whoever that was beating that person to death, swinging something at them, they weren't forgiving that person. That's for sure. They called it the easy way out, to kill them, I assume, right? Because if you're going to reach that point, you definitely haven't forgiven that person, right? There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. It's like, even that, based off that first scene, you could call whoever that was, again, I'm going to assume it's our narrator, killing that person, you could call that a mistake as well, right? Killing someone, beating someone to death, is a lot of the time not the correct thing to do. And that, I would say, is an example of a potentially irreparable mistake, you know? I'm going to write this down, because this is a very interesting insight into our narrator's mind. No such thing as an irreparable mistake. Apology. I'm just going to write down apology. Okay. You just need to be more careful next time. What if there's not a next time? She's still apologizing, even now. Then, has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. Man, that's just a weird outlook. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. I don't need this down. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey, you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice.
Keiichi, そろそろ着くぞ.
There we go. So his name's Keiichi. Yeah, Keiichi's dad, and I'm glad the voice acting was working. Thank God. I was worried for a little bit there when we didn't have any of that, but I guess it's just for spoken dialogue. That was our buddy Keiichi thinking.
起きなさい.
I was finally aroused from my nap by my father's prodding. Get my mouse off the screen. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. Looks nice. Looks nice. I'd seen some people online when I was looking up what the best settings to use would be. Some people arguing between using the console backgrounds and the original backgrounds. I'm curious. Interesting. The original backgrounds definitely have a unique style to them. I don't know. You guys could tell me if there's one you think I should use. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. We'd spent hours riding everything from the bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window and the city I was in half a day ago were in the same country. It's a big place. No, that they were even from the same era. Wow. So is that small of a town, I'm guessing, then? From there, we took a car deeper into the mountains. Looks nice. Passed where the dense forest encroaching on the mountain road suddenly opened up. Pretty small place, if that's all of it. Real small. Have to be less than, can't be more than a few hundred people, really. There, where I live now, Hinamizawa. Looks like Japan, that's for sure. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Although, in exchange, you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the window, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. The neighboring house was far away on the other side, so I was probably the only one enjoying that view and that air. I filled my lungs with another deep breath. Let me write down Hinamizawa. Again, I'm sure I'm not going to forget any of these names, but just writing them down will help me remember. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I learned that even air had its own taste. Yeah, probably very different from the city. Sounds good. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working until the early morning. Wonder what he does. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. Thank you for telling me, Keiichi. Such a laid-back profession. That does sound very nice. He must be very successful if he's a painter. That's a very difficult job to make a living with. They said, it was 1983? I'm gonna write that down. I don't want to forget. 1983. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. Especially if it's 1983, being a painter is even more difficult. Well, I don't know. I wonder if the advent of digital art makes it easier or harder now to, make a living off creating art. I don't know. I would be curious to know. It seems to me it would be harder before, the internet and before digital mediums for artwork existed. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. It was just because it looked easy. I'd never tell him that, though. Oh, please don't tell him that. That'd be so sad. Mom laid breakfast out on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, raw egg, and grilled salmon. Wow. Sounds good. My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. It seemed like she was in a good mood today.
こっちに引っ越してきてから圭一が早起きになって嬉しいわね。
早起きしないと朝飯を食いそびれるんだよ。
Sounds like they have a good relationship. I thought I was being cute, responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good.
ご飯
That's a
は
good
いっぱ
reason to
い
get up.
それとも半分くらいでいい？
山盛り。
First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent, as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile. Yeah, this music is great. I love this already.
こっちに引っ越してきてから圭一が朝食を欠かさないんで嬉しいわね。
I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. That is something that people say about small towns, is that, they make you grow closer to people around you. Even your family, even if you were, even if your situation seemed like it was the same, where you lived in the same house just like before. I think having less people around will make you get closer to the people still around you, I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning, that was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. That's so mean. Why would you do that? I guess that was what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wonder how old he is. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. That is so sad. That's so mean. I hope you've apologized to her for that. I guess you're making up for it now by, changing your behavior. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. Thank you. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with her wide grin.
そろそろレナちゃんと待ち合わせの時間じゃない？
Rena-chan.
急いで急いで。
Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Rena was one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people, coming to meet me every day without fail. The way I looked at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. Lame? I don't know if that's the word I would use. But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. It would not. Seriously, though, how long does Rena wait for me there every morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door. Like, that's the kind of thing that if you know, him having it, I'm sure it makes him happy, having her to walk to school with every day. Like, even though he says these things about it, how he thinks it's lame or whatever. I'm sure it's something he would miss if she stopped.
レナちゃんにお漬物ありがとうって伝えてね。
Ah, she made them. Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? She's awesome, I guess. Okay. If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more.
Ayo!
ケイチくん、おはよう。
There she is. Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself.
相変わらず早いな。たまにはのんびり朝寝坊したっていいんだぜ。
お寝坊したらケイチくんを待たせちゃうじゃない。
She's so conscientious and such a good person. Seems like Keiichi is a good person too, so far. Based off the little we've seen of him, he seems, you know, he seems pretty cool. Seems
そ
like a
の
nice
時は
guy.
置いてく。
Okay. Alright. Don't be making me eat my words. Come on.
ケイチくん冷たい。
Hey, you're just teasing her.
いつも待っててあげてるのに。
Voice acting's already really good. I like it.
サクサク置いてく。キリキリ置いてく。
どうして冷たいんだろう。
Rena had a slightly troubled look on her face. Apologize right now. Toying with her was rather fun because of how quickly her mood changed. I see.
嘘。ちゃんと待ってるよ。
Thank you. With those words, Rena seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red. Okay. She really does change quickly.
ありがとう。
Him telling her that he wouldn't just leave her behind makes her have this reaction.
レナが来るまでずーっと待ってる。いつまでも。
Alright, okay. Rena turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. Yeah, I guess I can understand why it would be fun if she reacts like this to this. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease. Yeah, I imagine.
レナはロマンスものの文庫本は読んだことあるか？
ないよ。読んだことない。
From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I guess. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass out. She would
そうそう。
explode.
お袋から伝言。漬物サンキューでしたって。
God, my
どう
nose
いたし
itches.
まして。どうだった？しょっぱくなかったかな？
Oops. They weren't that salty. Actually, they had a pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine to just be honest and say they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright.
その前に聞きたい。あの漬物を漬けたのはレナか？レナのお母さんか？
Why does he have to know that before he can tell her if they were good or not? She's gonna overthink this and like say it wasn't her.
なんで聞くんだろう。しょっぱかった？
Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic frantically. Alright, Keiichi, maybe you gotta chill out a little.
レナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで作った人聞くんだろう。太郎。
どっちが作ったかで感想が著しく変わる。
He's okay. Alright. She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she'd used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. Yeah, you're kind of, I don't know, kind of going overboard a little bit. Rena nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response.
レナだけど。
Let's go.
うまかった。前回に続きなかなかだったぜ。飯との相性は最高だった。
See, he's nice. Just, her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It truly was a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Rena never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Rena. I'll train you until you handle it like the average person. If that's how he wants to justify it, I guess. Or so I decided for myself, exactly.
行こうぜ。ミオンを待たせるとあいつうるさいぞ。
Mion. Seeing that she just keeps spacing out otherwise, I called Rena back to reality so we could make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl was Rena Ryuge. Oh. Rena Ryuge. I guess it'd be Ryuge Rena, but you know, that's how they're gonna localize it. I guess I'll say Rena Ryuge. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize it's not just her name that's strange. Is that strange? I don't know. Also, you're calling her strange. That's mean. Coming up to the next rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved.
Oh, 来た来た。
Mion.
遅いよ二人とも。
Looks nice, looks nice. I do wonder, I'm curious what the other sprites look like. Yeah, I don't think I like that as much. And the original I know look kind of silly. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like the console ones the most. Although, you know, the original ones I'm sure have their charm, I suppose. I don't know if I like the manga gamer ones. I'm not sure if I'm a fan. I don't know. It's like Uncanny Valley or something. Something's going on here. Not a fan.
いつも遅いのはお前の方だろ。
Oops, I just skipped one. In sharp contrast to the diligent Rena, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. For what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the class.
おはようレナ。そしてケイちゃんお久しぶり。何年ぶりだっけ？
Been a while. Didn't he? He was at the city for some reason, right? How long was he there?
2日しか休んでねえ
2
よ。
days.
そうだっけか？前に会った時はあんなに可愛かったのにな。
Is she older than him, I'm guessing? Mion's gaze started at my chest and dropped straight down, focusing on the point between my legs. Okay, alright. So she was saying it was my crotch that was cuter back then. Alright. Before you ask, just to be clear, I've never actually
そ
tried to
うだ
show
よ、
it.
立派になったぞ。
Thank you.
驚くぞ。
たくましくなっちゃった上にヒゲまで生やしちゃってさ。
Alright. Okay.
毎朝元気全開で大変なんだ。今度見せてやるから挨拶してみろ。
Rena is gonna have a panic attack.
今度なんて言わないで今がいいな。朝の新鮮な空気を吸わせてあげたら。
I don't think I've ever heard talk so dirty you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Mion sure does act like an old man sometimes.
よし、わかった。大公開だ。後悔するなよ。
Alright, okay, let's call it. As my hand reached for my fly, Rena began to ramble in a near panic.
ねえねえ、何の話？
Oh, you know what they're talking about,
何
Rena.
の話だろう？何の話だろう？
Red-faced and flustered, Rena tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about.
どうだった？久しぶりの都会はさ。
Mion switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing the topic to something more befitting the pleasant morning. Did he say what her last name is? I should have written it down. Ah, Mion Sonozaki. Mion Sonozaki. Okay.
葬式で行っただけだぜ。
Wonder who
慌
died.
ただしいだけだったよ。
Funeral. I'm gonna write down funeral. At city for funeral.
でさ、探しといてくれた？頼んどいたやつ。
That thing.
お前、人の話聞いてないだろ。俺は葬式で帰っただけだぜ。おもちゃ屋巡りをしてる余裕なんかなかったんだよ。
ち
Toy
ち
stores.
ち。
What's she asking for?
おもちゃ屋とホビーショップは全然違うよ。特に洋物、こっちじゃなかなか手に入らないからね。みーちゃんまたゲームの話？
Games. What kind of is 1983? Mion nodded proudly as Rena giggled.
そう、 ケイちゃんに洋芸のカタログを持ってきてもらいたかったんだけどね。
Westport Catalog. Westport was short for Western Imported Games. I see. Using that abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky.
そんなのまた通販で取り寄せりゃいいじゃねえか。
ま、そうするかな。またプレイングの熱いゲームを入荷するからね。
今度は私にも分かりやすいゲームがいいな。
Mion is a board and card game enthusiast, and I hear she's collected quite a lot of different ones, so it's okay, yeah, board games. I wasn't sure, but that makes sense. According to Rena, Mion's room has kind of become a museum for domestic and foreign games. I see.
俺にも分かりそうなゲームがあったらやらせてくれよ。
I wonder where she gets all the money for that from. Must be expensive.
いいよ。ケイちゃんさえ良ければね。でもうちらのレベルは高いよ。
上等じゃねえか。俺だって遊び100番遅れを取るつもりはないぜ。
じゃあ今度はケイチ君も仲間に加わるのかな。
Awesome.
かな。
Let's play some board games. Bristling with joy from head to toe, Rena looked back and forth between me and Mion. Mion gave her an affirmative wink, and her expression perked up even further.
男の子ってきっと外で遊ぶ方が好きだと思ってたからダメかと思ってたよ。
I guess. Rena laughed happily. From such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't think I had moved here less than a month ago. Yeah, he did mention that. He only got here for a month. He's already very close friends with him. I understood that they did all they could to make a transfer student like me feel at home. Makes sense. Yeah, they probably don't get new people moving here very often. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try and make me feel welcome. Did they mention why they moved to Hinamizawa? I don't think they did. I'm going way far up in the log. When they were talking about his job, oh, it doesn't go that far up. I don't remember if they said if it was because of his dad's job as a painter. I don't know why he would need to move out here though. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try to make me feel welcome. I felt like if I acted a bit more open than I usually am, it should probably be about right for this place. I see. Okay. Interesting. Hinamizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, but there's only one class. So maybe even smaller than I thought. Maybe not even a couple hundred people. I mean, that class encompasses all different grades and ages, yeah. There are about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. Wow. Probably a nightmare for the teacher. I'm told that long ago, there used to be a bigger school building, and they had actual separate classes. Has the population dropped then? I assume so. However, it seemed something happened that made it become a single class, and now it stayed that way out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing started right from the morning. I wonder if, like, the older kids end up having to, you know, just help the teacher with all of the young kids all the time. I didn't read that line, I bet. I'll read it. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that that was such a bad thing. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up until then, suddenly let me take the lead. Right in front of me was the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Okay. Do they have a welcome back party or something for him? Heh, too bad. I wasn't going to fall for that again.
ここで先頭を譲るとはな。
What is going on?
お手並み拝見ってことかよ。
Oh no. Mion chuckled with a haughty smirk on her face. I love that face.
どうしたの二人とも。
下がってろレナ。危ないぞ。やつだ。
She?
じゃあ、さとこちゃんが
Satoko-chan. Satoko Hojo. Write that down. Satoko Hojo. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. I see. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this.
見え見えの罠だな。引き戸の上に挟んだ黒板消し。
I see.
見え見えだ
What, it
ぜ。
would just
佐
fall
藤。
on you or something? haughty laugh came from beyond the door.
お見事ケイちゃん。こりゃ今回は
Is
勝負あ
that
った
it?
か
I feel
な
like there has to be more.
いや相手は
Yeah.
サトコだ
And Mion's trying to get him to think he won.
これだけとは思えな
Can't
い
be it. After falling for such intricate traps placed since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Since the day he transferred, she started doing this to him. Sadako liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps that were simply there to bait you into the main one, traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine. The list goes on. How does she make them? As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least expect it, she strikes. No escape, no time to relax.
見
Sounds
たところ
stressful.
黒板消しは普通石とかは入れてないみたいだな
I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day. That's a great way to greet the new transfer student. Sounds like the opposite approach that Mion and Rena have had so far.
じゃあさガラガラって開けて
There's gotta be
落としちゃえ
something.
ばいいん
Who
じゃない
knows?
かな
What's gonna happen when he opens the door? There has to be another layer to it.
それだ
That's what Sadako is after, making me focus my attention upward. So as I lifted my hand to the door, there were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door handle with tape. Frightening trap. That is awful. Hello? That would hurt so bad. A potent and terrifying trap. Yeah, very. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser. Now what if there's another layer to it?
見事なコンボだサトコだが所詮はガキの浅知恵だったな
You gotta, surely he would look out for something, another thing. Assured of my victory, I threw the door open and stepped into the room. He's gonna, like, I don't know, step, I don't know, he's gonna step into something. I felt something strange at my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching my leg. Is it a tripwire? By the time I realized she had me, hook, line, and sinker, it was already too late. I begun to fall in an almost picturesque manner.
ケイちゃん避けて
Instinctively reacting to Mion's shrill warning, I twisted my body in midair before I landed on the floor. Does he have to go through this every time he gets to the classroom? An inkstone, filled to the brim, was placed right where I would have landed. I don't know what an inkstone is exactly, to be honest. Is that, I guess, just the thing you refill ink pens with, I guess? I shuddered, imagining the situation had I landed square on it. That would have been awful. Like, hello? These traps are this is way too much.
あらこれはこれは
Okay, I love her already. I
お
love
はよ
her
うござい
voice.
ますケイチさん朝から賑やかですわね
Still sprawled in an awkward position. He dodged it. I mean, he got her. I was greeted by a mocking voice.
一段とスペシャルなトラップワークになったじゃないか
Good. I
サトコ
was hoping this was just like a welcome back trap and not like the normal, not what they normally wore, because that was brutal. I'm gonna write down traps next to Sadako's name.
私何のことか分かりませんもの
Look at her face. The smile. I gotta see what the other ones look like with that. Oh, that doesn't do nearly as good. Oh no, this is the best. I mean, like, look at that. Like, come on, that's great.
朝からついてませんわね
てめえ
I get her.
ててててて
Another. A small hand gently rubbed my head.
ケイチの
Rika.
痛いの痛いの飛んでいけです
The small dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head.
腰とかはくじかなかったですか
Seems like Rika here is the opposite of Sadako.
こうして撫でていれば痛いのは消えてきますです
Seems like she speaks very properly. I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. It's not so much about what you actually do, it's the thought that counts. It is.
ありがとなリカちゃんのおかげで痛みが引いてきたぜ
リカちゃんおはようレナにおはようございますみんなにもおはようございますです
Speaks very properly. Rika-chan greeted each of us with an adorable little bow. Wow. It was infectious. Runa, Mion, and I all bowed back. Not Satoko, as she was already here.
リカちゃんはいい子だよな。
The opposite of Satoko.
それに比べてサトコは
I glared over in her direction. Satoko was whistling while rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact.
さとこはいい子でございますのことよ。
I'm sure.
いい子はこんな凶悪な罠は仕
Oh,
掛
she
けな
didn't
い
do
ぞ。
anything. What do you mean? It wasn't her.
言いがかりでございますわ。何の証拠があって。
I picked up Sadako by the back of her collar. Okay. She looked like a misbehaved cat when I do this. This is an often thing you do. But a cat wouldn't be setting traps. She's much harder to deal with.
ごめんなさいって言ってみな。
No way she would ever say that.
言わないなら。
I cocked my index finger on my thumb, letting it tremble as I brought it closer to Sadako's forehead. Awesome.
暴力反対ですの。証拠がないのに。
Can you count as being against violence when considering that trap what you tried to do to him? I don't know.
言っとくが俺のデコピンはすごく痛い。ベニヤくらいなら割る。
I hope not.
やめて、寄らないでけだもの。
人様が聞いたら誤解するような言い方をするんじゃねえ。
A small hand tugged on the back of my shirt.
圭一が2日間もお休みしたから
Oh.
寂しかったのです。
Rika-chan really is just so. How could I do anything more after being told that? I gently released my grip on Satoko, who at this point was on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself for the forehead flick.
悔しくなんかないもん。
Alright, Satoko.
泣いちゃダメです、さとこ。ファイト、おーです。
Rika gently petted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess those two are the same age. I wonder how old they are. I think Satoko could learn a thing or a million from Rika-chan.
今度はもっとすごい罠を仕掛けなさいですよ。
I guess that would help. That would probably help the situation, I'm sure. Wait a minute. As she observed the scene, Rena's expression grew ecstatic as she began to swing. What?
さとこちゃん泣いている。
I did not expect this from Rena.
かわいいよ。
持ち帰っちゃダメだからね。
だってこんなにかわいいよ。
どんなに可愛くてもダメなの。
でもちょっとくらいな
It's
ら。
like she's just saying
ダメ
kai
かな。
instead
ダ
of
メか
kawaii.
な。
Rena kept a cutesy face even as outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. No, I don't think it's okay to take them home at all. No, sorry, Rena. According to Mion, Rena is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tries to take them home. Object or person?
物もまずいが誘拐はもっとまずいぞ。諦めろ。
じゃあ見てるだけだよ。それならいいよね。よね。
Sure. Rena swooned over Sadako's crying form. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to turn Rena in to the authorities. I wonder if that is foreshadowing. Just because I know this, I know this is supposed to be like scary, it's supposed to be like horror kind of. Forgive me, Rena. I'll be sure to bring you care packages when they put you away.
先生来たよ。早く片付ける。さとこ、すずりあんたのでしょ。
Yeah, you gotta clean up the trap, come on. Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room shifted back to normal. The inkstone was bad, but the thumbtack stuck to the door handle were an even bigger problem. Yeah, you have to fix that immediately. Hurry! I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Satoko was the one who set it up, everyone had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bedlam from before had been neatly tidied up.
間に合ったね。起立。気をつけ。
Mion gave out the morning commands. Is she the class president? But probably the oldest, I assume. It's difficult being the teacher for all these different grades in one classroom. Man, I love the music so far. It's so good. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is being the teacher, I mean, even just handling 30 kids would be a lot. She has to teach something different to each one. Yeah, just impossible. Like, but naturally she ends up spending all of her time with the younger kids. Rena and Mion, being in the highest grade in the class, end up doing self-study. Oh, so is Rena older than him too? Or is he also, are they all in the same grade? They even end up helping teach the younger kids, so it seems like they can never get to their own studies. Yeah, makes sense. Sounds about right. They're actually way behind where my studies have progressed to. Oh. Because I guess, yeah, I guess being in this environment, it would be difficult to, you know, keep up, I'm sure. I'm sure their education has suffered. As a result, I'm pretty much taking over for the teacher and helping Rena and Mion with their studies.
ケイチ君はお勉強教えるのうまいね。
I wish I knew how old they all were.
わかりやすいよ。
Rena took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section.
教える端から自信がなくなるよ。自分の理解の浅さがわかるな。
You gotta know something really well to teach it, that's for sure.
人に教えるには3倍理解してなければならないって言うしね。ケイちゃんもうちらに教えながら同時に復習もできてるわけなんだよ。
True. Oh, yeah, I guess it also helps you learn the subject. In contrast, this person over here is quite laissez-faire about things. For one, isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me? Okay, so Keiichi and Rena are the same age, I assume, and then Mion's older.
ミヨンさ、一言じゃないぞ。真剣にやんないとまずいぜ。こんなレベルじゃ。
別に進学校を目指すわけでもないし。
True, you'd have to leave Hinamizawa.
受験に必要なそこそこができてりゃ十分。
Her staunch defiance was really something else. This was a different type of relax than somebody who already knew what was going to be on the entrance exams.
みーちゃん、ケイチ君が頑張って教えてくれるんだからさ、私たちも頑張ろうよ。
レナは素直ないい子だな。先生がきっといい学校に進学させてやるからな。
She freaks out to every little tiny thing that he says to her. Like, come on, that was just like a pleasantry. That wasn't even...
レナには特に教えて
And
や
then he
るか
just
ら
has to layer it on more.
な。二人きりでプライベートレッスンだぞ。
Oh god.
プライベートレッスン。
A puff of smoke shaped like the halo popped out of Rena's head. Exactly what kind of private lesson is she fantasizing about that's making her turn so red? You know what it is. You did that on purpose. I gotta get a drink of water. I'd like to hear the play-by-play of that next time. He teases her way too much. He needs to... Come on. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual question.
都会じゃさ、こんなに勉強しなきゃいけないわけ？
Well, he said he went to a cram school, so probably more than this.
この程度はできないと進学できないね。
進学できないから勉強するわけ？
They plan on going to university?
平たく言えばそうなるな。将来役に立たないのは承知で。
こっちじゃさ、
Sounds about right.
出席日数が足りてりゃみんな進学できるんだよ。
Ah. So there is some kind of university out here?
そうなのか？
Study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law of the universe so easily overturned sent me into a state of shock.
そうかもね。試験で振り落とさなきゃならないほど人もいないし。誰でも進学できるならさ、そんなにガリガリとやることもないんじゃない？
I guess. I feel like that's just something that naturally happens in an environment like this. You know, they can't have super strict education guidelines, you know, or no one would make it in just because their education does suffer based off the environment they're in, you know.
まあそうだけど、でも一般常識程度にはできた方が。
おじさんはそんな無駄な勉強に時間をかけるよりさ、この思春期の貴重な時間をもっと有意義に過ごすために使うべきじゃないかなって考えるわけよ。
It was too profound of a statement to simply laugh off. But since it was Mion, it probably didn't actually have that deep of a meaning. In place of a chime, the sound of the principal waving a handbell drifted through the classroom.
ケイちゃん、おしまいおしまい。
Let's go. Lunchtime. I don't know if it was the end of the day or lunchtime. In a complete 180 from her unmotivated state, Mion gave the commands that signaled the end of the morning period.
ケイチくん、お昼にしよう。
Sounds good. I might have been making a very troubled face. Rena smiled brightly at me.
よっしゃ飯にするか。
Or was he just troubled about what him and Mion were talking about, I guess? There seemed to be different cliques, even within the class. Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different, we had both boys and girls. Are there other boys that we're gonna see? But we weren't reserved around each other, because everyone so far has been a female. This level of openness makes a transfer student like me pretty happy. Rena and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Satoko and Rika-chan were slowly liking their desks over as well.
ケイチくん、早く早く。
Rena waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes. Aww.
ケイチさんのお弁当はきっと貧乏くさくバカに決まってますわ。
Why would you say that?
そう、恥ずかしがらずお店
Yeah,
なさいな。
I'm sure his lunchbox is full of bread crusts. Yeah, that's probably true, Sadako. I'm sure. Even though Sadako was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox swiftly and dragged my chair over to join the circle.
お待たせ。
では、ミー委員長の号令でいただきますです。
At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my own lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have all been different, well, just your gender, but we were all friends.
いただきます。
Itadakimasu. The sound of our little 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Cute. Aww. Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there were other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Makes sense. Well, that's to be expected. Younger boys just see older boys as scary. Compare that to girls. Well, at least these girls aren't picky. We put all the side dishes in the middle where everybody was free to pick at them. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mion noticed that and teased me quite a bit. As the fruit of my efforts, I can now reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch.
あらあら、ケイチさんのお弁当は今日は大奮発ではございませんこと？
I love the way she talks.
あらあら、さとこさんのお弁当こそ大奮発ですこと。煮物がしっくていい感じですわ。
Flying into the fight that Sadako was starting, our chopsticks locked in a cross counter, stabbing into each other's lunch.
あら、ビビー。
お、里芋がいい感じだぞ。煮物は冷めててもうまいよな。
After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile.
夕べの夕食の煮物を少し取っておきましたですよ。
By the way, Sadako and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. It seems that Rika-chan makes it for both of them every day. Oh my god, that's so nice. Although Sadako's parents don't make lunch for her then.
この煮物もリカちゃんが作ったのかい？
I'm gonna write that down. I don't know if that's important, but I feel like that's... Because really, the more I think of it, that's weird, you know? I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't from a mold. They were done by hand with a knife. Wow. That's not easy to do.
リカちゃん
Every
って
single
何
day
気
she
に
does
そういう
that.
の得意なんだよな。
お裁縫とかお洗濯とかも上手なの。すごいよね。すっごいよね。リカはいろいろとすごいんですのよ。
That's a great laugh. That's awesome. That's great. Also, why does it seem like Sadako is like bragging about Rika?
お前が威張ることじゃねえ。
僕よりレナの方がお料理は上手です。
Yeah, Ren is the one who made those pickles for Keiichi.
そのね。
It seemed that the topic of conversation switched to Rena when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. She really, I guess she does need to learn how to react like a normal person, like Keiichi said. Rena's lunch really was the star of the table. Does everyone just steal it? Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Rena's lunchbox constantly.
これ前に評判良かったからいっぱい作ってみたの。美味しいかな？
かなり合格点。あ、ミオ、お前取りすぎだよ。
I like when Rena does that thing. She repeats at the end of her sentence. Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached out, trying to secure my own portion. Satoko and Rika-chan reached over at the same time, and a struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthful, while praising it, and Rena's lunchbox was soon empty. I hope she got to get to eat something. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Rena, but Rena seemed rather satisfied as she looked on.
いかがかしら。レナさんもとてもお料理が上手ですことよ。ケイイチさんとは大違いですの。
だからお前が威張ることじゃねえだろ。
she's bragging about Rena too.
さとこだってケイちゃんと変わらないじゃんよ。あんたブロッコリーとカリフラワーの区別つくようになったわけ。
It's pretty easy. Oh god. Oh no. Satoko's face went pale.
おいおい、ブロッコリーとカリフラワーの違いなら俺だってわかるぜ。
Very easy. If anyone ever explained it to her, I would hope she could remember.
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
It's really hard for her to lie.
ケイイチくん、どっちでも茹でてマヨネーズ
Rena's
かけ
trying
ると美
to
味しいじゃ
cover
ない？
for her, trying to say it's no big deal.
いじめちゃかわいそうだよ。みーちゃんも。
Rena hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed haughtily as she drew closer to Satoko.
まあまあ家庭科の授業ってことで。じゃあさとこ、これは？
Mion lifted up her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon.
でもそれアスパラ。
Oh no! It's not even broccoli or cauliflower. Mion made eye contact with me, and within 0.3 seconds, I have Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon-wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices. She's pretty terrible. Satoko deserves it. Maybe.
その
God.
黄色がカリフラワー、緑がカリフラ
さあどっちだ？
多分黄色がブロッコリーで青がカリフラワー。でも緑は
Oh no.
本当にどっちか分かってる？降参した方が良くない？
I'd expect no less from the class representative. The oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has, of course. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal.
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
Go ahead, give your answer then.
じゃあ答えなよ。
わかるもん。
She's gonna start crying. Oh, Sadako, come on. You gotta learn. If you just knew the difference between broccoli and cauliflower, this wouldn't be a problem. She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she actually starts to seem her age. Not again. They have some good dynamics here between all the characters. Rena entered a state of euphoria as Sadako bawled her eyes out. Rena was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Sadako's head and smothered her. Really, a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right then. It was that kind of smile.
レナ、ミオンさんがいじめるんですの。かわいいかわいい。大丈夫だよ。レナお姉ちゃんが悪い人たちはやっつけちゃうからね。
What? It was like a flash of lightning.
今、一体何が？
Did she hit everyone? Both of Rena's fists shot out at supersonic speed, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Mion and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring at the ceiling with matching welts on our faces. Great.
ケイちゃんは食らうの初めてだよね。今日のはまだ甘い方。
Alright.
甘いって。これよりまだ上があるってのかよ。
With that, Mion and I both slumped our heads back to the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Rena.
ほらさとこちゃん、やっつけちゃったよ。
Good job, Rena.
かわいい。お持ち帰りしたい。
I can't do that. Sorry, Rena. Making sure Rena can see it, Sadako stuck her tongue out at us. That face is so great. Was she just pretending? Damn it all, using Rena like a puppet. Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. Thank you, Rika. Lunch is over. Oh, the day's over. No matter what the day held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance.
ねえ、ケイチくん、明日はさ、何か予定とかあるかな？かな？
It was such a direct question from Rena that I inadvertently blushed. Oh. If it was for a date, then wouldn't you do it more subtly? You would... That must not be what she means. Rena saw me lost for words and realized that I'd misunderstood and turned red as well. There's no way Rena could ask him like that, if that's actually what she meant.
違うの、そういうのじゃなくて、その...
So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it's always fun when Rena's in a panic, I went along with it a little. Hey, you were blushing too.
なんだ、そういうのじゃないのかよ。
He's gonna pretend to be disappointed? You can't do that to her. Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, feigning dejection.
ケイチくん、なんでがっかりしてるんだろう。太郎、みーちゃん。
Oh, Mian's with him? Unable to hold it any longer, Mion slapped me on the back.
そっか、そういう攻め方はおじさん知らなかったわ。
何なんなの？
Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach, while Rena flailed about, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well. Feeling just a bit guilty, I ruffled Rena's hair.
嘘、ごめん、冗談。悪かったよ。
She really is a cute one. I like their relationship.
冗談ってどこからだろう？どこからだろう？
え、あ、途中から。
途中からってことはケイちゃん、最初の真っ赤になったのはあれ
You shouldn't have
演
said
技じゃ
that.
ない
True.
それって
It was only a momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion would let such a delectable detail slip by her.
え、あ、いや、
I love the music. Saying anything more was also a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while.
で、明日が暇だと何なんだよ、レナ。
何の話だっけ？
You were the one who brought it up. It had been so long that Rena had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me.
ケイちゃんさ、まだこのひなみ沢一人じゃ回れないでしょ？
It's pretty small, but I guess. That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times like we're playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here.
そうだな。
It's small, but not that
街へ行くのと学校へ行く以外はまだ自信ないな。
そう
Can
そ
I show him
う。
around?
それでね、
And
明
us?
日ね、みーちゃんとレナでお散歩しながら、ケイチくんにひなみ沢を案内してあげようよってことになって。
That would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy about the offer.
もちろん行くでしょ？
暇ならな。
If I'm free, what would you have
女
to
の子
do?
が誘ってんじゃん。
暇ならな。
It's just because it's Mion asking.
どうせ暇なんでしょ？
暇ならな。
I was being stubborn so as to not give a clear yes or no. Even though I thought it was a godsend, I'm too much of a scamp to say up front. To say so up front.
ケイチくん、暇じゃないのか
Come
な？
on, you can't say that to Rena. While Mion and I had a rather sour back and forth, Rena peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I just gave in.
すまん、許せ、ごめん。
Thank you.
暇だ。
や
The trepidation disappeared from Rena's face as it blossomed into a smile.
おうおう。ミオンさんとレナさんじゃ随分と温度差がありますじゃん。
It seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was. It seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her compared to how quickly I agreed with Rena. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Rena forward, speeding up her pace to leave Mion behind.
行こうレナ。明日は二人っきりで出かけような。嫌味なミオンは
He
置い
loves
て
he loves just pushing people's buttons. He's doing it to Mion too.
ケイチ君がそれでいいなら
Poor Mion.
案内しようって提案したのはあた。
二人きりでピクニック嬉しいな。
I should skip that line.
弁当は持ってくかレナ。
お弁当いるならレナ作っちゃおうか
I
な。
hope he's not just getting Rena's hopes up just to tease Mion. I mean, that is what he's doing, but that's
レ
Mion.
ナもシカトすんな。二人がホテル街へ消えたって回覧す。
Not again.
じゃあレナ今日は早く帰ってお弁当の準備するね。明日が楽しみ。じゃあねケイチ君にみーちゃんさようなら。
Rena bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion, sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her
大丈夫か？
face.
ミオンとレナの立ち位置。
あんたが来て以来、切れ味は増す一方。おじさん身が持たないわ。
Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff to make Rena want to hit you. Keiichi is the one who instigated that situation. It was not Mion. Or else this will end up being Mion's slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal.
くじけるなよミオン。レナのジャブを見切れるのはお前しかいな
She
い。
didn't dodge at that time, so.
私は膝じゃないかと思ってんだけどね。
What? Could it be that we were hanging around with an unrivaled martial arts master? Maybe someday we'll see her debut in an extreme contact sport.
レナには負けられないぞ。ミオンも鍛えてリベンジだ。
ケイちゃんがしてよ。おじさんは
I don't
応
think
援して
either
る
of them could take her. Mion and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Rena's infallible technique. The music has been so good. Everything's been really good so far. The voice acting, the music, the art, the character art. New tips unlocked. That is the end of the first part, I assume. Let me save. And then we'll read the tips. We're mixed grade, we don't have a uniform.
レナってさ、俺と同い年だったよ。
Ah, thank you. We're clarifying it.
うんそうだよ。エトも同じだよね。
そんなことないよ。
Been born across
誕生
different
日の
years.
違いがあれ
Yeah.
ば、年齢が同じでも干支が違うこともありえるって。
あれあ、そうか。ミオン、頭いいじゃないか。
Is that really, I guess?
ところでケイチ君は何月生まれなのかな。レナは7月なんだよ。
Rena smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday is a wee bit sooner than mine, is she?
だが諦めろ。俺に誕生日で挑もうったって無駄なことだ。なんなら一月差ごとに100円の賭けをしてもいいぜ。
Right. I really doubt it's gonna be a fourth, but I'm gonna write down. Come on, pen, work. Rena. God, why is it not working? Rena. Birthday. July. 100 yen per month. That's not very much.
なんでだろう。なんでだろう。
Rena panicked at suddenly being challenged to her wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun, I can't help myself.
て ってことはケイちゃん、ひょっとして4月生まれ？
そういうこったな。
April. Writing that
残念
down
だ
too.
な、レナ。
Okay. She. Birthday. April.
俺、もうとっくにレナより年上なんだよ。
へえ、そうなんだ。じゃあみーちゃんと同い年なんだね。
So Mion's a year older. Okay.
まあほんの何ヶ月かはね。すぐにまた差を開いてあげるけど
Alright, it's
さ
a。little bit less than a year older, but yeah. Mion snickered through her nose. Hey, now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk.
そういえば、ミオンって上級生なんだよな。
下級生の方が燃えるってんなら、今日から下級生ってことでもいいけ
Alright,
ど。
okay.
みーちゃん、よくわかんないこと
I
言っ
think
て
you
る
know
わ。
what she's talking about, Brenna. Come on. Just by seeing Renna's blushing face, you can tell she knew exactly what she meant by it.
で、サトコとリカちゃんが下級生と。どころか、学校が違うくらいの下級生だよな。
I wonder how much younger they are.
ケイチ君はちょっと好
I
みの
don't
年
think
齢
that's
が
what
低
he
す
meant.
ぎると思う
Come
な。
on.
思うな。
You're not making any sense yourself, Renna. Also, is Renna one to talk? I'll just grab onto her head and scruff it up a bit.
あー、やめて
前から思ってたんだけどさ、なんでこの学校ってクラスが学年混在なんだ？
教室の数が足りないからだよ。仕方ないじゃん。営林署の建物を間借りしてんだからさ。
The forestry services? Okay. When she says it like that, it makes sense. I've thought our school was strange for a while now. The schoolyard is gravel. There are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here. Yeah.
なんで借りてるんだよ。本当の学校はどうしちゃったんだよ。
戦前からずーっと建ってたらしいからね。
Before the
老
war,
朽化でね。廃校ってわけよ。
it probably was a grand old schoolhouse.
まあそれで生徒は町の学校に通うことになったんだ
I
け
am
どさ。
curious if the population of
so?
Hinamizawa has went down too.
どこの学校だったの？
沖宮の駅前通りを抜けて
沖宮
病院に曲がって小児科の向かいに学校あるのわかる？
へえ、遠いよ。
Oh, whoops, I skipped that, my bad. I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from his reaction.
まあそんなわけでさ、沖宮の学校に通いたくない連中はこうして営林署の建物を間借りした仮校舎に通ってるってわけさ。
Okay, makes sense.
ひなみ沢の子供の半分くらいかな。朝早くに自転車で通ってる子たちも結構いるよ。
まあこんなはちゃめちゃな学校に通ってたら進学校とかはちょっと無理だろうからね。
そんなことないよみーちゃん。ちゃんと頑張ればどこでだってお勉強はできるよ。
There's probably some more barriers to it than just that, but it's a good attitude to have, I guess.
お、そうだぞそうだぞ。レナとは意見が一致したな。
He called it a law of the universe.
そうだね、そうだね。頑張ろう。
せいぜい頑張ってくださいな。おじさんはささやかに応援しとりますわ。
俺たちがじゃないぞ。ミオンがだぞ。お前受験生だろ。こんな成績じゃお先真っ暗だぞ。
いいもんいいもん。路頭に迷ったら永久就職してケイちゃんに食わせてもらうから。
永久就職ってなんだろう、なんだろう。
ほらそこ、うるさいですよ。
Their teacher?
自習は静かに。
The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Satsuko saw it and chortled haughtily. Just that face, like I can't ignore it. It looks so stupid. It's so silly. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It is just as Mion says. This school has nothing to do with higher education. But it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things other schools do. And we don't have a uniform. That is true. They all have different uniforms on. I wonder if they just can't afford them. It's only June, but it's already so hot. That means Rena's birthday is a month away. I could hear the Higurashi outside chirping me, me, and at night there were mosquitoes. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings were still cool. Yeah, around where I live in June, it's already real hot, so I understand.
暑いでございますわね。
Satoko was flapping her skirt languidly. That's pretty unladylike there. Even if she was a little brat, she was still a girl.
ケイチさんはワイシャツ一枚で涼しそうですわね。羨ましいですわ。
俺から見りゃスカートのサトコの方が涼しそうだよ。この時期のズボンの股ぐらがどれだけ蒸すか女のお前にはわかる
Jeans
まい。
are hot, that is true.
蒸すんだ。
This girl has gone imagining something indecent.
レナの夏服は涼しそうな色合いがいいよな。見てるこっちも涼しくなる。
What did he even possibly say? Just saying jeans are hot?
ありがとう。本当に涼しいんだよ。私もレナさんみたいな涼しい夏服が良かったですわね。でもさとこちゃんの夏服ワンピースですっごい可愛いし、レナはさとこちゃんの夏服着て
I'm
み
sure
たい
you
な。
would, Rena.
これ結構蒸しますわよ。絶対にレナさんの方が涼しいですわ。
It's become a
で
competition.
も可愛い服の方がきっと楽しいよ。はう。
I had a feeling that Rena and Satoko's base values were fundamentally different. Yeah.
そういえばこの学校って指定の制服とかないんだよな。
うん、ないよ。ふさわしい服であれば私服でも大丈夫なんだよ。
There were quite a few students in regular clothes. There were a few wearing uniforms, but they were all the same design and rather plain.
他の連中が着てる制服は何なんだよ。みんなお揃いだよな。
あれは町の学校の制服なんですのよ。別に決まってるわけじゃないですけど、みんな着てますわね。
そこへ行くと俺らの仲間はみんないろいろな制服を着てるよな。わざわざどこかから取り寄せ
I
たの
wonder
か。
where they get them.
ええ、ミオンさんが調達してくださいますの。みーちゃんの親類で古着商をやってる人がいて、全国の学校の服を格安で仕入れてるんだって。
でその親類に頼んでいろいろ個性的な制服を取り寄せてもらってるわけか。
That Mion, she probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. That must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's a second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from schools all over the country? That's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point in stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about?
うん、それはレナも思うよ。他にも体操服とかスクール水着のお風呂とかも扱ってるの。
No comment.
そういうののお風呂はちょっと嫌だよね。
あんまり儲かってなさそうな商売だな。きっと少しでも儲けさせるためにミオンが一肌脱いでやってるんだろうな。
でもいつもミオンさんが自信満々に言いますのよ。今にきっと大ブレイクしてすごい商売になるって。
A second-hand clothing store that stocks school uniforms will be a big hit? I don't get it. Alright. Well, that seems like a good stopping point. This was very enjoyable so far, so nothing scary has happened yet, which I am okay with. Taking some good notes, I guess. Yeah, I mean that was good. I like the characters, I like the music. The writing's been good so far. It's all been pretty good. As I'm very curious to see how we're gonna reach that scene that was at the start. Might go back and read that again at some point. I'm gonna make an extra save, like at the start of each chapter, because it says this is the end of chapter 1. I guess I don't know how many. I guess I can make extra. There's a lot of save points. So I just, in case I want to go back and read stuff in between chapters, I'm gonna make a save. I guess I'm gonna make an extra save at the end of each chapter, so it'll be easy to go back if I need something. But yeah, that was good. That was real good. Yeah, so that seemed like a pretty good length. I mean, that was pretty long I had no idea how long this video was, but oh, that lasted quite a while. My throat almost hurts from talking so much, so. But yeah, that was pretty good. I'm excited to see how it's going to continue from here, so I guess I will see you guys next time.